My name is Thomas Jacobs. I'm the VE and Property Officer at Fairfax House, and thank you for joining us at Cookery Corner. So today we're going to be exploring some of the dishes of the 18th century with the help of Laraine Hare's marvellous book, a Georgian cookery book. It's got some great recipes in here for all the family, admittedly somewhat towards the protein heavy, but today we're going to be looking at something a little sweet. So we're looking at the curd cheesecake. Something a little indulgent for the 18th century. My challenge is I have to try and cook this using the 18th century recipe. And the hope is that I will produce something that's vaguely edible. We will see how successful I am. But first we'll have a look at the ingredients list. So if we have a look at the recipe, the first thing it says is beat half a pint of good curds. I don't know where you get curds. The closest thing I could find was cream cheese. So we're going to have a go with that. Obviously, the recipe is built for an 18th century household, so it is much more than I need. So I'm going to halve this straight off the bat, namely because with lockdown, there is no chance that I'm going to get through all of this. So half a pint, if I'm right, is roughly about a cupful. Now, interestingly, in the 18th century, a cheesecake didn't necessarily have to contain cheese. In fact, it merely meant the consistency. So sometimes you'd have like pastry, or it might just be a pie or some sort of dish that would have that sort of feel. Now, I could use the mechanical whisk, but I feel that's somewhat cheating, so I'm going to be making it manually. So I've got our cream cheese. Now I have to beat that with 4 eggs, so half that to 2. So 2 eggs. Breaking it straight in there. I know that these instructions are somewhat limited, so they don't seem to have too much detail about what is meant to be in it, but let's see. Okay. The great thing about this is hopefully I can't go wrong. So I need 4 spoonfuls of cream. So again, halved, isn't it? So 2. And because I don't possess a tablespoon, I'm probably going to add another one for good measure. Okay. Now the important part, the nutmeg. Now this is what made it really luxuriant. In the 18th century, nutmeg was added to everything. It was just the hip spice. It was exotic, but relatively affordable. And if you wanted to show that you were in the in crowd, this is what you would add. So just going to add that straight into the mix. And I think a teaspoon will do. Go half again. I like nutmeg, so I'll add a bit extra. Mix that in. Now, the bit I've been looking forward to, breaking into the brandy. It says a little brandy. I suppose what you call a little brandy. I suppose I'll go for a slug or 2. That'll be good. Probably not too much. That'll be fine. There's nothing quite like brandy. Okay, half a pound of currants. In all honesty, I don't know my imperial measurements too well, so thank God this has an old imperial one on it, otherwise I would be completely doomed. Clearly have no idea what a pound of currants looks like. There we go. We've got 4 ounces of that. Smashing. So add those in. So it says sugar to taste. So I suppose that's the real question: is how much sugar do you need to make something taste good? More the better, usually. What are you in? Fluid ounces, grams. Okay. Yeah, 60 grams sounds about right. There we have our batter of brandy, raisins, sugar, nutmeg. And now the instruction is simply puff paste. Okay. Well, fortunately, I got an image here because otherwise I would assume that you would have the thing as the base and then you would put the puff on top. But the diagram seems to make it quite clear. But that's what I'm aiming for. So I've got my baking tray. So I'm just going to grease up the pan and then I'm going to try and apply some puff. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat. I'm going to use pre-made short crust pastry because who has the time? And all the flour actually at this point. Now the real fun bit is to try and guesstimate what the temperature should be for these things. 180. I think 180 should do it. So there we have the finished article. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with those. They're pretty close. Perhaps a shade lighter than the other ones. They're fresh out of the oven, so they're piping hot, but I really want to have a go at trying one. Really nice. The currants really come through and they're really tasty. Should have probably put another glug of brandy in there. I'm not getting a huge amount of that. And I think if I was to do it again, I would probably soak the raisins in brandy overnight. And possibly a zest of an orange. Or maybe a lemon, just to tart it up a little bit. But really nice. Hope you enjoy making them.